Stick around, I have a double header for you today. We're taking a look at the Luke Skywalker lightsaber from that famous deleted scene, along with the tool that he uses. Plus, I had a lot of fun filming this intro, and it might be the best version and the best quality of this intro you might see. All right, roll intro. Well, what did you think of that intro? I had so much fun making that intro and kind of putting my own little twist on it with different camera angles, because the original one was just one single shot. It was so cool to recreate that original deleted scene and bring it to like modern quality of 4K. It was just so fun. Honestly, I may have spent way too many hours doing that because I had to make like the backgrounds and make the cave, and I had to pull out old drone footage that I had from out in Hawaii. It was such a blast to do. I hope you enjoyed that. So yeah, today we're taking a look at none other than the little dampening tool, that Energy Matrix Dampener. This one is actually from WannaWanga. This is really cool. It comes with a little stand. We'll open that up in a sec. And thanks to Vaders Sabers for sending over the cave lightsaber from Luke that opens up with the clamp and has the circuit board and everything in, great blinking lights. It actually even has the uneven rings on it. But thank you so much to Vaders Sabers for sending this over. I'll put a direct link and discount code for you down in the description, and I'll also put a direct link of where I purchased this over at WannaWanga. This is a great extra piece to have alongside a display with this particular lightsaber, because that scene is famous for this tool and that particular lightsaber. All right, so before we dig in, if you are new here, please help the channel out. Drop down, hit that like, subscribe, and notification button for upcoming videos. I've got a ton of lightsabers coming up, and I've got a bunch of 6-scale figures to unbox, so you're definitely not going to want to miss all the upcoming videos in the coming months. And if you are a returning viewer, thanks so much for stopping by again and hanging out with me for another unboxing. All right, let's get this Luke saber out of here. So I'm going to actually include down below in the description a link to the RPF website, which has a ton of reference photos of this version of the lightsaber. With the circuit board and everything. So it's a really, really cool version to have. And the fact that it was a part of a deleted scene that so many people love, I wish they can find a way to go back and pull all that footage, remaster it if they have to, and put a version of the movie out with that in it, because this is a really cool lightsaber. And it's like the only time we ever see in the original movies anything referring to building, constructing, or configuring a lightsaber. So it's such a cool thing to see. And I'm glad that that footage actually came out over the years. So here is the saber hilt itself. It is beautiful. It has a nice weight to it, not too heavy, not too light. A really good color neck. We have an accurate blade plug included there that also lights up when you turn it on. So when the other versions have come out that were made by TXQ, these pommels were more rounded and not squared off like they are here, if you could see that. See, these have very sharp edges, and the other ones were much more rounded off. Here, let me show you these side by side here, if possible. So here's the original one that we reviewed from TXQ. It had a lot more rounded edges there, you could see. Not that this really makes much of a difference for me, but if you're looking for definitely more of a screen accurate one, here is what the version we're looking at now looks like. with much, much harder, crisp, sharper edges, which is a lot more what the saber pommel should actually look like. So the designer of this really took a lot of things into consideration when designing this version of the hilt here. And they even gave us some of these uneven rings, just like they were in the movies. Which is a fantastic addition because these were handmade back then. They were like just milled and everything, and they weren't really measuring the distance and the thickness of everything. So when you actually look at some of the reference photos, you'll notice that some of the rings are thicker, some of them are thinner, and he did kind of accurately make that. Now, I don't know if they're exactly the thickness that this should be. I would need to go get a caliper and get the original prop and, you know, measure everything. But I mean, this is super cool to have, just simply for the evolution of Luke's lightsabers over that movie. So before we dig in any further there, let's see what else it comes with. Again, we've got that really nice, accurate Luke blade plug there. So I have the blue card on here, and they do also give you two other clamp cards here, which are all double-sided, the thinner and the thicker one, whichever ones you feel like putting on there, you know, for your own liking. And then as always, I absolutely love when they give you the sound vented pommel and a pommel that is great for display. That's going to bring the accuracy of your display up so much higher without having the audio vents with a whole bunch of holes in it. That way, when you put it on display, it looks like a movie prop. And of course, you have a bag of all the needed tools. We have the USB-C charging cable, some screwdriver, retention screws, Allen wrench, everything that you need is right in there. And you do get a full manual on how to run your board. This is a Profi board, and we have our Pixel blade. Now, you can get this without a blade. Now, let me tell you about that for a second, because that's where this box comes in. So you can see you have a really cool wooden box with all the logos there, and may the force be with you right here on the front, along with a little lightsaber, all kind of inscribed in there. And this is an absolutely beautiful box. If you want to get this with a blade, this is how you'll get it. Now, if you have your own blades and you want to save a couple bucks and not get the blade, you'll get it in this really awesome little wooden carrying box here. It's an exact duplicate of the bigger one. It's just a lot smaller, and this is kind of the box that we'll see Obi-Wan Kenobi with the lightsabers in it. It's such a great piece for display. Let me show you on the inside. It has a nice piece of foam, but I would say if you get something like this, I would pull this out and put some nice fabric in there, and you can display this on a shelf as a really awesome display piece. So you can even buy this box separate, which is really cool. If you have, let's say, a Kenobi hilt and Anakin hilt and you want to put it in there, just like we saw it in the Kenobi show, that's another killer thing for this box. So a lot of options for this little one, and it's so much easier to display than the larger box. All right, so for our double header, we're going to take a look at the tool that Luke is using in the cave to calibrate his saber. It's called the Luke Saber tool. So original. Energy Matrix Dampener, episode 6, Deleted Cave Scene. Now, I picked this up over at WannaWanga. I will put a direct link for this down below. This was a smidge bit more than I wanted to pay for it, but it is well worth it for a really cool display, and I think everybody's going to be happy to display this next to their lightsaber. But let me tell you, to film that intro, without this tool, that intro would have meant nothing to anybody. You couldn't have done it without it. So let's take a peek at this. Looks like the stand is over here underneath. Pull that out. All right, let's zip on in nice and close so you can get a good look at this little tool here that Luke is using. It's an interesting little device. It definitely has the feel of maybe some sort of medical tool or anything. I never did much research on this piece. If you know what it is or where it came from, or maybe they just designed it for that scene or something, I really don't know. Again, I never really did a lot of research on this piece, but I'm really glad I was able to pick this up because this is going to be really awesome next to the saber. So it's just two pieces here. We just have to pop that together, fit that right in. All right, and then pop that little pointy part down there, and there we go. That is a really cool piece. And it's one of those things that if you're not a Star Wars fan, or you don't know that scene, you're gonna look at this thing and be like, what the heck is that? But if someone comes along and they see that on your shelf, they'll be like, oh, the deleted scene. You'll be like, you're a Star Wars fan, that's awesome. So this is a really cool thing to have, and it's gonna look great displayed next to this. Really cool. All right, let's dig on into the lightsaber itself here. I'm using the blue clamp card because I'm almost certain that it's the blue clamp card that's supposed to be on there. Now let's dig on in. This is a Profi, and I gotta tell you, man, this is one of the cleanest chassis I think I've ever seen. I mean, look at that. There's no exposed wires or anything here. So if you want to get into the Profi board itself, if you wanted to do any of your own configurating and adding sound fonts and stuff, it does look like there's a bunch of screws here that you will have to take out and open this whole piece up to access your Profi board. Now on the back over here, we do have our USB-C charging port. Right up top here, we do have a kill switch, which is great.
The saber. Take it.
All right, let's pop that back in. Now we do have pins here, so do be careful on how you've placed this in. Pay attention to how it came out and pay attention to how you slip it back in. It should slip in without any problems, just a little push, and you should be good to go. So this is where the fun begins. We can actually open up the clamp card here, right? You can swap this out to any of the other ones that you would like. You can actually click, oh, you know what? Let's use the tool. How cool is this? So we're actually gonna use the tool to activate our saber. So we have our two buttons right here that we can get in there and kind of fiddle with.
Hello, Master. It's been a while.
Hello there.
Oh, hello there. All right, and you can see the side arrows do the little gag with the blinky lights.
Kylo Ren. Anakin Skywalker. You don't know
Rey Skywalker.
Love it.
that power.
Anyway, let's keep going here. We can pop that back on in. And again, we do have the blinky lights there. And when you activate it, the lights do go solid. And the blade plug itself, when you activate it, does light up. So I really do love that. So over on the RPF site that I'll link down below, you could pull up a ton of these photos. I'll actually put a couple over here, but you can pull up a couple of these photos and you'll see that, yeah, the rings are uneven. When they were making these back then, they kind of hand milled it and just kind of went in the machine and whatever came out, came out. And that's why you're gonna get these uneven rings here because they're not sitting there measuring everything. You know, you gotta remember, this is all from back in the day where, you know, high definition screens and all that stuff weren't a thing. You know, we used to watch television on these small square boxes. And if you went to the movies to catch the movie, that's how you saw the movie. And then after that, it was pretty much gone until VCR came along, you know, down the line. And even that was terrible quality. So they weren't really going for such high quality replicas in a sense where they would recast, remold, you know, remachine, whatever it happens to be. They would just kind of, whatever shortcut they needed to get done, they got done. Now up over here on the thin neck here, we have this beautiful kind of brassy, not really bright copper, but more of that brass color neck, which I really, really like. I don't really love those bright orangey copper necks. This is definitely the one I really like. And up on the emitter here, the emitter looks really good. We have 2 retention screws to hold that blade in, and that is more than enough. This is definitely up there with one of the best Luke lightsabers that I've had here on the show. All right, let me get this blade hooked up and we'll test out the sound and listen to a bunch of the sound fonts. All right, let's give this a go. Love that sound. It's actually, I think that might be one of my favorite font sounds. My dogs are obviously located very inconveniently right under my feet. So I do have to be very careful swinging anything around here. Obviously dogs and fans, so, but. All right, this actually sounds really, really good. We've got our blaster blocks, lock up. Flash on clash.
Hello, Master. It's been a while.
Really cool fire blade. Definitely a very good sounding saber. Now we do have a double button setup, auxiliary and power here. This will flip through the fonts. We have a bunch of fonts in there. Now if you want to just swap the colors out, you can just hit auxiliary, hold that, and then hit power. That'll put you into color change mode, and you just have to twist your saber. When you find the color you want, you just do it again. Auxiliary, power. When you're downstairs creeping around the house and you don't want to wake everybody up, you want to go immediately into mute, you just hit the power button twice quick. That way you're immediately into mute. So you can kind of flip around the house like a nut job, like I do sometimes in the middle of the night with your lightsaber in mute. And then to get out of that mode, you just do it again. And you're back on. Volume, you're just gonna hold auxiliary for about a second. You'll hear that beep and now you're in volume mode. So it's just up and down with the buttons. So that's all the way at the top. When it gets all the way to the bottom, the tone changes. Then you can go all the way back up to the top. Tone changes. And to set in the volume, you're just going to hold the auxiliary again for about a second. All right, everybody, that is the Luke deleted scene lightsaber. One of the most famous deleted scenes, I think, in Star Wars. This is a really great recreation of that saber, including the circuit board and the uneven rings. Such a great job and attention to detail on this saber. And I love the fact that we've got the little blinky lights on the side. That is a great touch. So let me know down below in the comments what you think of the deleted scene Luke lightsaber, and what did you think of that intro? Because I spent a lot of time on that intro. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and notification button for upcoming videos. I have a lot of videos coming, so you don't want to miss it. All right, I will see you all on the next video. Be safe and kind out there in the world. See ya.